Well,
Hi, everyone.
wow, it's working again, live. It's been a long time for us.
Just said we went live, so
I guess we've got 20-some people watching us right now. 32, 33 people watching us already.
How exciting.
Wow, this is great.
Welcome to another season of RVing to Alaska. Today we officially kick off our 22 season, and we have every finger and toe crossed.
Why?
Well, the last 2 years,
It's been difficult to get.
it's been
here.
very difficult to get here.
Yes.
So I am just praying, hoping
We all are.
that 22 is a great travel season for all of us.
I know it will be.
I hope so.
I know it will be. I'm so looking forward to seeing you guys up here in 2022.
Now, this is new for us doing our live chat on YouTube. Normally, in years past, we've always gone live on Facebook. And I know the world is bigger than Facebook. And especially on a day like today when Facebook went down for most of the day, I'm kind of glad we planned to do this on our RVing to Alaska YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now, if you've followed us for a long time, you know we used to be Pau Hana Travels. However, in the beginning of this year, we made the decision to actually sell our home and we moved to Alaska. We are coming to you today from Houston, Alaska, which is about an hour north of Anchorage, and this is our new home base. I'm
actually sitting out here looking out the window right behind the computer, and our house is being built.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting.
Right. And yet, I've seen a couple questions. No regrets from Boulder Crest Acres. No regrets. None.
No.
Zero.
It's been a little difficult. I mean, here we are in October, and they are just now getting the roof on our house, and they just started framing 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We're a little behind the curve, and we are living in our motorhome. We've skirted, we've foamed, and we are doing this. The goal is to get us inside our shop. We're building a shop house as soon as we can before it gets super cold, and then we'll live in the motorhome, in the shop during the winter months.
Right. So
until we can move into our house.
We're hoping to be in there before it gets stupid cold. Because, I mean, living in a motorhome in 22 below doesn't sound like any kind of good.
No.
So, but I see somebody, Journey of the Songbird from Coeur d'Alene. Hello.
Yes.
That was our neighbor when we were in Washington.
Yes.
So, hello.
So, a quick introduction. If you do or have watched us, or if you haven't, my name is Stacy, and
I'm Gary.
My husband.
Kind of sometimes the more recognizable one. I don't know why.
Yes, he gets recognized.
Actually,
the
barber trimmed it a little too much. It's 3 inches shorter.
But we've ran our Pau Hana Travels and now RVing to Alaska YouTube channel now for, believe it or not, 5 years. We started this channel in 2016. Wow, that's 5 years.
That was a year before we came up here.
Right?
That was a year before we learned how to do it.
And 2017, we filmed every day, every mile, every excursion, every campground, and really passionately fell in love with Alaska. So much so, here we are. It's home.
It took a few years, and it took a couple of knocks in the head to realize what we needed to do to get here.
Yep.
But so happy.
But what I would like to do, I have a little agenda here. I just want to go over real quick, and then we're going to answer your questions live about RVing to Alaska. And we posted on our Facebook group, our 2022 travel group, what is your number one question that you have about RVing to Alaska? So we're going to answer that. This should take about an hour. And I'm going to try to get through the housekeeping real quick so then we can get to those questions.
Well, there might be a little bit of housekeeping too, because this is the first live this season. So there's a lot of things to talk about. There's some really cool stuff.
Yes.
I'm excited.
So first of all, I want to say a huge shout out and thank you to our moderators that help me behind the scenes on our Facebook group. That is our forum where we have everyday chit chat, answer questions, have friendly debate, sometimes not have so friendly debate, and a little babysitting. So I want to shout out to our senior moderators, Kat, Madison, and Candy. They've been with me pretty much from the beginning. This is our, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 6th year running this group.
You just said 5 years a minute ago.
Well, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is our 6th Facebook group.
Wow.
2022.
Yep. 2022.
So we're just starting. This is like day 1.
Class of 2022.
Class of 2022. So Kat, Madison, and Candy have been a part of my team, like I said, almost from the beginning in 2017, and I couldn't do this without them. Also, we have some newer moderators that have been helping out in the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have Blake, Matt, and Eric. So if you see something on the Facebook group that might go against our community standard, oh, we all hate that word, don't we? Go against our guidelines, hit report to admin or moderator, and one of us on our team will get to that issue and either approve it, remove it, whatever. One thing, this is a very safe and very controlled, not controlled,
but the moderators,
structured.
Yeah, the moderators are watching what's going on with the group and keeping it streamlined to a topic, focused on a topic. The things that get off on the different rants we don't want to talk about, we try to kill as soon as possible.
Now, if you're wondering what in the heck I'm talking about, this is our RVing to Alaska 2022 original Facebook group. There is another Facebook group by the same name, but it doesn't have that original in parentheses behind it. That is not our group. So look for the groups that have original behind it, and then you will know you have come to the official RVing to Alaska Facebook groups. Now, another thing, just a quick recap, go into the group rules and read them. They're very simple, they're very logical, and there's nothing tyrannical about them. It's just we want to keep a safe environment for all of you to learn together and also share your travels together. Because we realize when you're traveling, you don't want the whole world to know where you are, what you're doing, and that's kind of what our group does. So we keep it a private group. That way, and every person, believe it or not, that is accepted in the group is vetted in a way. A moderator actually looks at your questions and approves or disapproves of your acceptance into the group. Well,
not just the questions, looks at how long you've been a member of Facebook and what other groups you belong to, and kind of a little bit of the history of that person joining the group.
Yep. So we do take your privacy very seriously. Again, it's all about being safe in a digital world.
I see Johnson Family Husky Adventures. Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
And Tom Thiel from California. Hi, Tom. We have Pat from Ohio. Ricky Williams, we know who you are. Love you too. And Jeanette Adams from East Tennessee.
And of course, there's Glennis. That's our high school classmate.
Glennis from high school, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So next thing on my agenda, border and COVID. We are going to do our best to keep on top of any changing regulations, restrictions that pertains to the Canadian border, as well as the Alaskan and the lower 48 U.S. border. That is something we kind of keep a good clamp on just because it can get out of control really quick. The last 2 years have been very, what do you call it? It's just been
trying.
It's been trying. It's been rough. Yes. And that's where conversations can go south really fast.
And I know you're doing a very good job, and the other moderators are doing a very good job of pulling information only from official resources and really trying not to get information and pass information to third or fourth hand.
Yep.
We're really trying to focus that information from the official mouths.
We try to keep politics out of everything. Let me tell you, I do not have a very nice... On my personal life, this upsets me, but here on RVing to Alaska, I try to keep it professional.
We're now in Alaska for a very good reason.
So if you post something about COVID, it may be pulled down if it's not appropriate or in a correct context. So don't take it personal. We're just trying to keep the drama off of our page. Another thing before I go to the really exciting
Yes.
stuff, we're really behind in YouTube land in our videos, and
What?
we will eventually get all caught up. It's
Well,
just
winter's coming, and
winter's coming, a long, dark winter, and literally here in Alaska. I'm going to have more time to uh, dive into our backlog of videos, and it will come. I promise. It's just on my own time. I don't do this to make an income. I don't do this as a full-time job. This is purely to help you guys make a bucket list dream
Yep.
come true.
Yep.
Our videos are great, but really our Facebook group where other people chat about where they've been. I'm just one person, but our whole community shares
well,
info.
we're trying to bring everybody together within this community while they're traveling through the States and into Canada and then obviously into Alaska, and keep that community rolling the whole summer you're up here.
Yeah.
You'd be able to knock on a neighbor's door and say, hey, I read your comment on the Facebook page. Amazing.
Yeah, in the winter, you'll see us go live a lot more often. I don't know if we're going to do it every week like we have in the past, but it'll be on a more regular basis. And then once April hits and people start traveling, the live broadcasts are going to come to an end, and then we're going to just watch everyone travel.
Well, because that's thaw and summer starts and such, so things start to happening and we go play.
Right? Yes, we're in Alaska already. We by the way, we came up during closed borders, which was very interesting. And I don't, what do you call it? We drove up in 3.5 days from Canada border to Alaska border. That's not how you do it, guys.
Nope.
We always say the best part of RVing to Alaska is Canada. So make sure you allow yourself time to make your way through Canada because it's absolutely gorgeous.
Right.
Next really cool announcement, speaking about the community, every year we do an RVing to Alaska decal that you slap on your RV, and it signifies it signifies that you're a part of this community. And in the past, 2020, I tried to throw an extra 20 in there. We did a license plate, and then when everything canceled, we threw a registration form for 21.
Hoping 21 would open up.
Right. And now that we've had 2 seasons of being closed, we're just, the license plate's getting retired, and the
new logo,
2022 logo. I'm really in love with this, guys. Here it is. It's RVing to Alaska 2022. It's a fairly larger size.
So what is that? 6 inches across?
It's
6 by 10?
7.5 by 6, I think.
Okay.
It's on our website.
Oh, we have one of those.
We have one of those. I've been working 3 years on our website.
Off and on.
And it went live 1 hour ago. We still have some hiccups on viewing at it on a mobile app, which I'm going to work on probably tomorrow or the next day. But these are for sale on our website at www.rvingtoalaska.com.
That's a thing now. Remember it.
It's real. It's no longer a landing page.
Yep.
And to find our store, it's just /store. In there, you're going to find a whole bunch of other goodies, such as other decals. So I just got creative last week and I made these. They're little Aurora moose and bear stickers that say Alaska.
They are really nice stickers.
And there's clothing with these designs.
Don Fleming from Fairbanks. Hello there. How are you?
Hi, neighbor.
Tom. Yeah, Talkeeton is a really neat area, and I'm sure it's much better in California.
Here is a little, like
lapel pin.
Lapel hat. Put it on your camera strap pin. For the magnet lovers, we did a magnet of the 20.
The light's kind of blowing it out a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we have quite a bit of merch, and this year a little bit differently. We have the exterior, like bumper sticker, throw it on, but we know a lot of people might rent an RV, so they can't put something permanently, or they're just not a permanent type person. We have a window
Turn it around the other
clean,
way, there you go.
and basically you put it on the interior of your window. I won't pull it back, but it's an interior window clean, so you can
Right.
take it off.
So you can put it on your towed vehicle, you can put it on your motorhome, you can put it, you know, or fifth wheel, wherever you want to put it, and it will be removable. You can move it one position to another, however you want to do it.
I don't know if you could do it multiple times, but at least at the end of your season,
yeah, at least it comes off.
you could take it off.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. My agenda went off. So on the website, again, RVing2Alaska.com/store. There's some options, lots of things available to purchase.
Well, and there's
coffee
also
mugs.
and the previous logo gear, RVing in Alaska. That's up,
Yep.
some of that's up there.
There's clothing with the 2022.
Little cinch backpacks and
a canvas tote bag.
Yep.
So go check it out. It is up live, and I just pray that the tech gods have worked with me and the online store. That's always
a stressful one. Yep.
Next really cool announcement for 2022. If you're gonna make that the summer to come to RV, the RVing to Alaska gang, we are gonna have another rally. We did a meetup or rally in 2019 over the 4th of July weekend, and we had a blast. That year we were up in Eklutna, which it was like 90 degrees down in the valley.
But it was still pretty warm up there, but it was not
70s
as warm.
up there, which was comfortable.
Yep.
But this year we are calling it the Rendezvous in the Range. And we are going to rally up in the Alaskan Range off of the Richardson Highway in Isabel Pass. More details to come, but I do have dates. It's going to be July 20th through the 24th. So that's arrival on a Wednesday, departure on a Sunday. And we're going to have activities and a couple other goodies for you that I've got planned in my head.
And this event is a pure boondocking event. So you must be able to be self-sustained for those 4 or 5 days.
4 overnights.
4 overnights, totally. There are no services within 100 miles.
About that. Yeah.
So
Delta Junction to the north, and
I guess
Glen Allen to
the south. So it's a beautiful location in the middle of the Alaska Range. We have claimed it as one of our favorites.
It is our favorite by far.
Beautiful scenery. There's a glacier just right nearby.
You can run your generators. We're not going to have generator hours or anything like that, except maybe at night when you sleep, if you can, or if you have to run it all night, you can maybe go away from the main group. But
Brad, if you can try the Chrome browser, it did work. Safari is saying they can't find the website.
All right.
So try Chrome or one of the other browsers you may have.
Thank you.
But thanks for that information.
Still, I just activated it to go live at 4 o'clock. Actually, that would be 5 o'clock.
Well,
4 o'clock Alaska
time,
right? So it still might be rendering into all the browsers. So super excited about that. Also, I want to say
Chrome doesn't like it either. I pulled it up in Chrome on my phone.
We'll
look into that.
We'll look into that.
Thank you, Brad.
If not, maybe check tomorrow. I want to thank, we have some business partners that we've partnered up with here in Alaska and in Canada, specifically giving our members discounts at their establishments. We have an photo album in the Facebook group, and there's also a page dedicated on our website that showcases these businesses and their discounts. I'm going to just give a shout out to who has partnered with us already today, and I'm adding partners all the time, so check back over the winter to see what kind of discounts you can get. But so far we have Scat Belts, which is a really great bear spray belt. They're offering our members 15% off. The Tosona Wilderness Campground in Glen Allen, 15% discount on your stay. Same at Sourdough Campground in Toke. Tracy and Tim up there are offering 15% off our members for their overnight stays. The Tetsa River Lodge in Tetsa River, British Columbia, beautiful stretch of BC.
It is a nice area.
And amazing cinnamon buns.
Mhm.
They're offering $1 off any cinnamon bun to our members. 13 Ravens Coffee House in Seward has got a BOGO 15%. Buy one, get one 15% off. Triple J Roadhouse in Wasilla is offering a free dessert with any meal purchase to our members.
Good desserts there.
Oh, Jessica,
Thank you.
It's one of our favorites, and it's close to home. Caribou RV Park in Whitehorse, Yukon is offering 10% off stay there. And the Northern Lights coupon book, where you can save over $22,000 in savings at over 200 businesses in Alaska.
Wow.
With the 39th edition, is offering free shipping. To our members.
That Northern Lights book is very valuable. Normally, it's like a 2-for-1 kind of thing, and there's a lot of stuff in there.
That and the Tour Saver, both are great books, and they will usually pay for themselves if you order them.
Don Fleming, we're looking at the RVing to Alaska 2022 Facebook page right now, the original, and I'm not sure what you're saying about the content is not available, but
the content unavailable was from me earlier today. I tried to go live immediately after Facebook popped back up after their outage, and it didn't go well. So I just deleted it. And so you see that content is not available. That was me. I deleted my live.
And we're doing this on a different platform than Facebook. Right now, we're live on YouTube. So you won't see this YouTube feed live on Facebook right now.
Yeah. When this is over, we will share the link over to all the group and our main Facebook page on Facebook, and you'll be able to see this replay as well as anytime on YouTube.
Yep.
Final announcement, and then we get to answer questions. We are having an RV to Alaska calendar contest.
Photo calendar. I mean, I just had to say it. I mean,
obviously,
I guess.
October 15th is the deadline. Send in your 2 favorite shots of RVing to Alaska. It could be in Canada or Alaska.
Well, yeah, does it have to be? Some of these folks haven't been to Alaska yet.
Well, that's the thing. It is an RVing to Alaska, so it really does hit a lot of the past members. But if you've been up here before or Canada on the way, submit your pictures.
Well, and let's do this. Let's just make this a reoccurring thing year after year after year. So for those of you coming up in 22 for the first time, take that photo to get into our calendar for 2023.
And that's my plan. And I would like to try to get a calendar built by the new year, so you can use it in 2022. And there is a grand prize of $100 for the cover photo that we choose, and all photo submissions that make the cut. Sorry,
I just saw that.
They're delivering an outhouse, and we already have an outhouse.
Maybe they're cleaning it.
That's possible. But everyone that is picked is going to get a free calendar. So
everybody who submits a photo
of the winners of the 13. Right. So there'll be 13 winners, one of which will be the grand prize winner, which is $100 cash.
And the others will get it.
The others will get a free calendar. Yes. I mean, how cool is it to have your photo published in the calendar?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind. I might have to get my camera out and start taking pictures again.
Right. All right, so
sunny and 84 in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi.
Oh, what is it?
It's 44
degrees right now.
And that's actually our high. It was 24 this morning.
No, our high was 51.
Oh, was it got that warm today?
Yep.
Wow.
According to our thermostat.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Hi, Sophie. Where's she there? Hi, Sophie.
Our little one. So I'm going to start answering. We asked earlier in the week to submit your number 1 questions on our Facebook group. So I'm going to answer those. And then if we have any additional questions over in live chat,
I'll be kind of, obviously I've got a little chat window here I'm watching. So
you're paying attention.
I'm paying attention to that, and she's doing that stuff.
Yep. So question number 1 comes from Quincy Klugman. And if I mispronounce your names, I'm sorry. I'm
human.
Yep. Yeah, I'm human. Their questions: we're planning to work while traveling Alaska and would love to learn how others remain connected and plan for scheduled needs for internet connection for work. Well, like us,
We live off the internet too.
This is a jetpack. Our home has horrible
The location we are
service.
currently in, not necessarily the motorhome itself, but the location within Houston, Alaska,
Doesn't get the best.
doesn't get the best internet service.
And we're still waiting for our landline DSL hookup, which should be sometime this week.
It'll be better than what we got.
Hopefully, cross fingers. But we
Ooh, I'm going to turn that down.
go ahead.
Thank
you. We use a couple tricks. In the past, Gary has been on AT&T, and my cell phone has been on Verizon. And between the two of us, usually we can get a good enough signal to work or stream, upload, download. We obviously, you stream a lot when you're in Alaska because satellite televisions on top of your rig, if you like to watch TV, they don't work up here. So we stream a lot, and we've gotten by using jetpacks or our phones. We always say AT&T pretty much wins most of the state, especially in the RVing areas, but having both sources really does help. We've personally found at our property here that Verizon runs a little better. And
yeah, my AT&T phone.
We just went and got a jetpack last week when we decided that, yeah, we're going to bring back live chat. So we needed something a little bit more reliable, and I'm putting that down very gently because it's that sensitive. But that is pretty much having the capability of juggling maybe both networks. You should have no problem. And I will say, in the past 5 years since our first visit in 2017, cell reception has gotten extremely better.
A lot better overall, the whole state.
There are some pockets of no signal or little to none, but you just prepare for that and
enjoy the scenery.
Enjoy your time. And like, if you need to, you can always call ahead if you are going into an RV park and ask that, what's your cell signal like here? Is it workable, etc. Do not count on working on an RV park's Wi-Fi. It's not going to work well for you.
Right.
You need to bring your own.
Right. At RV park Wi-Fi they're overwhelmed to start with, and then you add people to it, and they just they break down.
You think about a little tube, and this is all your data, and then you've got 60 people trying to get out of this tube. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
We don't have the high speed like.
Well, I mean, remotely or in remote areas we don't, but you get into the big towns, Fairbanks and Anchorage and such, and you'll have good service. And Wasilla, got the good service, and actually, heavy forage right there is in Willow, evidently, and sounds like he's got good internet service right now, so that's great. We're just in one of those little holes that it just far enough off the highway, we just don't get it.
Yeah, but hopefully MTA will come through for us when we get hooked up.
Kathy Robertson is going to be visiting us in 2023, and her question is about a rally and having hookups available, and that might be a possibility. We did look. There are some hookups available for some folks that need it, and others. It's the thing with Alaska though is if you can get a couple of days that doesn't have hookups, you get out a little bit further from the towns, you're increasing your beauty, the getting a little bit further interior, a little bit further away from civilization is really nice.
And the nice thing with our group, I think, is in the winter we'll be discussing with other questions popping up how you can better your RV to be able to get out and boondock for a couple days. 4 days really isn't that hard, and then when you have a support system kind of showing you how to do it.
Right.
I know someone, and it might have been you, Kathy, that was worried about a residential fridge. Well, as long as you have a generator on board, you could run that in the morning and run it in the evening, and your batteries would carry you through the day and the evening.
That's the hope. The battery should be able to carry you through the evening, or overnight and all that. And that's the goal, is to be able to run. You can run a generator all day. I don't care. That's fine. But 10 o'clock, cut that thing off, and the battery should be able to carry your rig through the evening or through the next day morning without a problem.
Okay. Next
Next
question
question.
from the request. Hillary Snitker. In the sections of the road where there is no cell service, how do you get help if you have a breakdown or emergency?
Do you have that little fancy gadget here? You don't have it right here.
Is it hanging on
It's over
key
here.
thing? One of two things. The easiest way, if you don't have the neat little gadget that
I don't even know where ours
we
is.
can't find, is lift up your hood or go out and put a safety cone. Especially on the remote areas, if somebody's broken down on the side of the road, you're going to have a pretty good chance of somebody stopping because they realize you're in the middle of nowhere and they're going to make sure you're at least okay. So that's a nice thing about up here and up in the north. People are just really friendly, amazing. They want to help and they realize that you're help. So they're going to at least stop and see how you are.
I think our little gadget is in our emergency box in the general.
I think you're right. The second thing is an Inreach satellite communicator. That is what we carry.
Mm-hmm.
The base unit of itself is about $300 to $400. It's a one-time investment, and then you pay a subscription service. We do the middle of the road, and it's about $30 a month. It allows us to get out 40 text messages to whoever we wish. So we can either send a text or an email. And if we have an issue, we can contact someone on the outside who's able to arrange something for us. And the nice thing is they can communicate back. Yeah. We've had to use this again, 2019, we're still stuck in Canada. We haven't made it to Alaska. And one of our videos, we broke down and we actually used our satellite communicator because we were 26 miles up a logging road in a BC forest with no cell signal. Right. And my mom was able to communicate to Gary when he came down off the mountain when he was getting parts to let me know what was going on. So,
well, and just this past end of summer, beginning of fall, we used it on a couple of occasions for some adventures out into the wilderness.
Yeah.
And I was out there, and Stacy was here at home, and it was just nice to be able to communicate and say, hey, all safe and sound. We're good here. See you tomorrow, or whatever it is. So yeah. It's really nice to have those satellite communicators.
They have less expensive versions or big fancy gadget ones. Right. They both work great, especially in an emergency situation. We've used it when he's gone out fishing on a charter and I just want to know, hey, you okay? What's going on? Especially in Alaska, it's kind of a must have. If you're going to be out in the outdoors, you're kind of not dumb to be without, but no,
it's a safety net that you should have.
Yes.
Because not just is it a satellite communicator where you can communicate with, an established, pre-established contact list, but it has an SOS button on it.
Yes.
That will send your coordinates to emergency response teams within your area within a moment's notice. So as soon as that SOS button is hit, they'll be looking for you.
And they can try to communicate with you. And if you don't respond, they at least know where to start looking.
It's a great tool for anybody who is really off-grid, who is really traveling in the remote areas of lower 48, Canada, or wherever, anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. It's nice to have something like that.
And Kenneth just mentioned a CB radio, which a lot of people don't carry those, but truckers definitely do more. And that could help signal help a little quicker.
Right, and that'll get you into the on the highways, get you into the truckers band basically, and you can communicate with them to maybe, hey, I'm broken down here. Can you send whatever I need, kind of thing.
All right, Laura Sherman Perkins asks, how easy is it to boondock for a night or several along the way? What tips do you have for planning that?
Well, it kind of depends on going through Canada, it depends on what province you're in. Alberta versus British Columbia, they're kind of different different recommendations on where you can boondock or where you cannot boondock.
Boondocking isn't that hard. It's more how you have your rig set up. Do you have good set of batteries? Are they well maintained? Do they hold a charge overnight? Can you run the generator? does it charge while you're driving, which most will. And there are tons of pull-offs that you can pull off on
everywhere.
the side of the road and stay the night as you're traveling up. We love to boondock. That's how we primarily camp.
We've been off grid here since July.
Yeah, that's true. We're living on our property.
We're living off grid right now. We have no power. We have no water. We are lucky enough to have a septic system we're able to pump into.
We don't want to move the RV, but yeah, we're completely off grid. Now we do have a mega system by Battleborn, and we have lithium batteries that carry us about 48 hours before we have to turn the generator on, because our solar is no longer working, because we are now under 12 hours of daylight, losing 6 minutes a day.
It's not just the daylight, it's the elevation of the sun above the horizon right now. It's
sun
really
is super low.
And we have got a bunch of trees on that side where the sun should be shining, so we get shade a lot.
So we do have solar. But boondocking, a lot of people are scared of trying it, but it's not as hard as you might think, as long as you have a good set of batteries.
And now Madison, he's changed his name this year, gone retired.
That's his YouTube.
Okay, gotcha, Madison. Boondocking versus dry camping. It's the same. I mean, okay, here we go. Dry camping is in a campground that doesn't have services available,
which is a lot in
of
Alaska.
Places. Boondocking is out in the wilderness. Find your own spot to park.
Okay. Yep. That's a good.
How's that sound?
That works.
So dry camping in an established campground.
Yes.
Boondocking, remote location somewhere out in the wilderness.
So almost all of the state campgrounds and rec areas here in Alaska are dry camping. There's no plug-in post. I do know that we just drove through it. Kensugi?
Kensugi, however it's pronounced. Yes.
Up by Denali
National Park,
in the south.
Denali State Park.
The South Lookout. They have some powered sites.
Yeah.
But that's rare. You're mostly going to find a post to plug in at private RV parks. So be prepared to drive.
Again, Madison's saying most the provincial campgrounds are dry campgrounds. So dry camping.
There's a few with electric, but they're few and far between.
So yeah, then boondocking is just getting out further away from establishments.
All right, next question. Jeannie DeVos, what's the best route crossing over the border in Montana up to Alaska?
Well, that would be the one we took.
Well, we only have
us.
In Montana, we only
What are you looking for, Sophie?
We have only experienced one border crossing in Montana. That is at Sweetgrass, and it worked really well for us. It was a very flat route all the way up to Dawson Creek, pretty much. And it's 24 hours. I believe the Ruthville in West Glacier or East Glacier is a gorgeous crossing that takes you up through the national park in Canada.
That would be a really nice crossing. Outside of Glacier.
So those two we've heard are really great. I don't have experience at others, but that's something that we can pose in the 2022 group, and people can share their experiences. And as people start traveling in April, they're going to report how their border crossings go. That's one of the kind of reports. Welcome to the RVing to Alaska Facebook group, because we don't allow travel reports really until you're at the border, because we don't need to know what the temperature is or what your favorite recipe is when you're in Iowa or Kansas. We want to know once you're at the border how that experience was, and then from then on up, where you went, where you stayed, where you ate, what you did. But Sweetgrass worked really well for us.
Well, there was one main reason why you chose Sweetgrass, or we chose Sweetgrass to cross, and that was...
It was COVID related, because they had a nurse station on site to do our arrival test, which my understanding, you no longer have to do an arrival test. It is random now. You still have to arrive with a COVID test when you show up to the border.
Negative.
And
COVID test.
Negative, yes. And right now for recreational travel, you do have to have a vaccination. Now, this may change by the spring. We don't know. This is a month by month basis. But that is why we chose Sweetgrass. And it's still the plains.
It was a really nice, easy crossing. I mean, like she said, it was flat. We were east of the Rockies, so the mountainous travel was very limited until we got to the further northern regions of Alberta and British Columbia. And it was an easy drive. It was beautiful highways, beautiful roads, all the way up until Dawson Creek.
The one thing I might say, it might be a little windier because it is the plains. And big, wide, open spaces. But, yep.
Don Fleming's asking about adding function for members where they can post their properties, allowing boondocking. That's a good option. That's a good idea for other members who have property like within Alaska or Canada along the route.
Our community.
That would be a really cool option, Don.
Yeah.
I think we can probably work, or would love to work on something like that.
Give me some time.
But within the community, as people travel, generally they will post where they have stayed and their feelings and how that stay went with a specific location. So you can use that Facebook 2022 group as a resource for finding spots to stop along the way.
And as Dawn said, there are boondocker welcome hosts here in Alaska.
There's one right here, actually.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're hosts. So you never know. You may unintentionally book a stay with us and show up and like, I know you.
Where do I know you from?
But also there's several harvest hosts now that those two organizations have joined together.
Have they really?
They have. They are
one
and the same.
Is that something I missed? I guess so.
So we actually
I miss a lot of things.
We are affiliate partners with both Boondockers Welcome and Harvest Hosts, and I can provide a link if that is something you might be interested in joining. To get you signed up as a member. But yeah, I do like that idea of our own community. I can definitely figure a way to do that.
Well, we've already come across a couple of places on the way up. I know Teston. We have a good relationship with them.
Who?
Teston Lodge Sour the good cinnamon rolls.
They have their own RV park.
They have an RV park, right? Okay. Anyway, stop.
Moving on.
Yeah, next question.
Next question. He doesn't run the group very much. He's just on video a lot.
I just stepped in 5 minutes before the video started. I said, what are we doing?
Yeah. Sabrina Paparaki.
Paparaki?
Paparaki.
That's a cool name.
I've read so many horror stories about the RVs getting damaged on the road up to Alaska. Does the road conditions change based on each winter? When do they do road construction?
All summer.
What time of year is best to make the drive up in an RV? Well,
spring.
So road conditions definitely do change with winter conditions. We get this thing called frost heaves, and you'll learn them really quick. Once you get about outside of Whitehorse, you'll start feeling them. And then once you're going through Destruction Bay and Kluane, you're going to really learn what a frost heave is, and it's going to slow you down.
And then once you cross the Canadian border into Alaska and go to Tok,
you're going to have some more.
You're going to think, I'm almost to Tok, and you're going to have to go slow. I can't get to Tok.
And then you're going to take the Tok cutoff and guys, it's better.
Oh, it is. The
northern half, it's still a little bumpy.
The last 25, 30 miles before you get into Glen Allen is still kind of cool.
But in the middle, it is butter.
Yes. I just drove it recently. Actually, funny thing, the first time ever that I drove the Tok cutoff in a personal vehicle without towing anything it's still a Ram 3500 truck, so it's not the best suspension. But I was able to actually drive a road or drive a vehicle through the Tok cutoff without towing a trailer or in a motorhome or something. It was a different experience.
The biggest key to save your vehicle from damage is go slow through what the conditions allow. Once you get past Whitehorse, forget 70 miles an hour. That's not going to happen. You're going to slow down and you're going to go with the conditions of the road. Right. You're also going to learn how to read the road as you're driving upon it, and you're going to see weird little squigglies.
You'll see the fog line doing weird things.
And you'll see where tag axles on big trucks have left a mark in the road, and that's an indicator that, oh, you're about to have a bump. And
Good one.
You're gonna,
You learned that, didn't you?
well, of course. It's not hard.
No, it's not.
Once you start experiencing it, you're going to be like, oh, there's a frosty.
So our Disco's done this drive
5 times.
Well, up and down, 5 times. And we have not blown a tire out. Thank God, thank the Lord. Not blown a tire.
No.
We have no windshield cracks.
No.
We have no major damage from flying objects on the side.
In 19, we hit a rock hit a pipe, but in all fairness, we were 25 miles up a dirt logging road, probably where we should have not have been. So that's kind of our own fault. And then this spring, when we came in,
that was in Palmer, we broke down, and
the gods were blessing us, and we broke down in downtown Palmer with a
serpentine belt failure.
So our number one is have a few parts on board that might be hard to source.
Always carry that spare belt. We still need to order that new belt before we drive too far.
So we had, when we went in for maintenance a couple of years ago, they had noticed our serpentine belt had split, but it hadn't broke. So we replaced it. And when we did, we ordered a second one just in case. And sure enough, after driving 2,800 miles as we were pulling into Palmer, 33 miles from home, we blew a belt. And we called a mobile repairman, and he was on his lunch hour. He was there within an hour.
I can't remember the mechanic's name or the company, but it was amazing.
I have it posted in my blog post on the website. But he had us up and going within 2 hours
of his arrival.
And I went ahead to our friend's house. We were staying with the truck and trailer. We were all pulling trailers. So I was driving our truck with a trailer. Gary was driving the motorhome with a trailer. And our friends flew down and drove Elsie, our F-150, with another trailer. And we were a 3-car caravan up. And, just having the little parts that you might need will definitely help save your day. But nothing major.
In those 5 transits to and from, nothing.
The biggest key to save your vehicle is go slow when necessary.
And pay respect to the oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
Jen Maynor, love you too.
Jen. Hi. When does road construction?
As soon as the
snow thaws until freeze up. Until freeze up.
We currently on the Parks Highway right now. There's a major construction project going on
north of Wasilla since Memorial Day.
It'll be going on for another month at least.
So they have what they call break up and then freeze up, and basically between that period, that's like
construction.
April, May to September,
October, maybe November.
Okay.
Hello from Washington, Heidi Taylor. Hi there, Heidi.
What time is the best year to make the drive up in an RV? I always say hit the border mid-May. That should
between first and mid-May.
Mid-May.
Yeah.
That way you're going to miss most major spring storms. You still might get a little snow on the road, but then you just sleep in, enjoy an extra cup of coffee, wait for the roads to warm up, and then head up. And then that will usually put you into the state of Alaska around June 1st, which is perfect.
That is great.
RV parks really don't start turning on water and electricity until Memorial Day. And same thing in the fall. Labor Day is your biggest indicator when parks shut down, and then you've got to be able to really know how to boondock.
And being up here June 1st gets you still ahead of most of the fishing seasons and everything.
It's the very start of
the fishing season. So that's June 1st is the best time to be up here to start.
Okay, next question, Roman Collins. We would like to know how many of the little shops and little stores you noticed have gone out of business with the pandemic limiting travel. We always try to stop and eat local when we travel to support all the small mom and pop shops we come across. Also, do you think the new milepost, when it comes out, will be able to keep up with all the possible closures if there were that many, or would you be fine with last year's milepost? Okay, first part. Alaska has been extremely busy and open with fly-in tourism.
Correct.
Southeast, unfortunately, cruise ships started coming back in late summer. But up here, the locals have been hitting all the areas hard. They always do anyways.
While the tourists are gone, the locals play hard.
They have been playing really hard, but lots and lots of RV rentals. People have flown up, rented, and zipped around the state in all the rental companies. And to the point, a lot of RVs like got sent down in 19 in the rental fleet, and none of them made it up in 20 or 21. So there's an RV rental shortage that's created issues with people renting RVs too. So if you want to rent, I would highly recommend getting your reservations in early, because we saw people, their reservations were being canceled by some companies.
Is it outdoorsy?
Well, there are
have rented out, like personal RVs rented out.
There's another question about rentals, and I'm going to get to that.
She's the boss.
Yeah, I am. So, but other mom and pop shops, we are seeing, like everywhere else, a shortage of employees.
Yes.
One, it was hard to get seasonal workers up here because of Canada's rules. They didn't feel that a seasonal worker was essential. So a lot of workers were denied. And then we have just, put it this way, guys, the entire state of Alaska only has a population of 700,000 people. That is the same size as our old hometown of Spokane, Washington.
Right.
For the entire state. The major populace is, of course, Anchorage and the Matsu Valley, where we are. That's about 300,000 or so. And then Fairbanks has a good number from the military base. Ish, maybe 200. Yeah. And then spread out. And Southeast has some clusters too in the coastal towns. But we have a worker shortage. So what you're seeing is a lot of restaurants are not open several days during the week, like Tuesdays and Wednesdays on a lot of businesses. They're just not open. Shorter hours, just like down in the lower 48, businesses are shutting up sooner. And there are a few that just close their doors.
They tried as hard as they could. And it wasn't only employee shortages. There's a lot of product shortages.
Supply issues.
Supply is a whole different thing up here, because everything has to come here through plane or boat for the most part. Or some of it's trucked through Canada.
Or locally sourced, like bread and
locally,
stuff like that.
Supply is hard to get up here. We had a sandwich shop in our little town down here that was a great sandwich shop, and he swore that he's just going to do everything he can to stay open. We went there on a Thursday, or I think it was maybe Wednesday. I don't know what day it was.
About 4 days later.
And he's like, well, I don't have pastrami. I don't have roast beef. I don't have chicken. I can make a turkey sandwich. Because he couldn't get stuff. So he was hurting. He was losing sales. And then a few days later, we found out that he closed. The store's done. Sorry.
And we're a little bummed because it's near us. We kind of live in the middle of the boonies, and there's not much restaurants near us. But you know, the restaurants are trying to do all that they can. We got out some this year. We've just been so focused on our build that we weren't able to get out to a lot of the communities and see how they're handling it. But there's some where, you know, they're not letting you in unless you're vaccinated. I mean, it's just kind of like everywhere else. It's a case-by-case basis.
Right.
About the milepost. I would say a 19 would still suffice. The 20 was still published, and the 21 was still published. And a 22 is coming out on March 1st. I don't know if everyone is going to advertise with them in the future. You know, it is a pay-to-play publication. And some businesses just can't afford that overhead right now. So maybe picking up an old and a new and just seeing. But regardless, when we came up in May on the Alcan, everything was pretty much still open. There was a few roadhouses that had shut down since our last drive up in 19. But for the most part, we could get from town to town with something available, even during closed borders and when tourism. We went through BC when BC, they weren't allowed to leave their home region. So like if they lived in Fort Nelson, they weren't allowed to leave Fort Nelson. And so like everything else, it's just a little harder on the business, and that's where they need our support.
We definitely try to support the local guys. We don't the big box stores. We try not to go to as much as possible,
and the big chains.
And the big chains. We
they're going to survive. We need to help the moms.
We want the moms and pops, and that's honestly where some of the best service and some of the best products are. So enjoy them.
Diane Murray, how much did Alaska suffer with economy? We only stay at RV parks. Are they in business? So kind of same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
The RV parks, they're making do. You know, we go by, what is it, the Creekside Inn in Anchorage, and every time we go by, there's just a few RVs, which normally in the summer there's a lot, but that has a different clientele. That's more like locals or work campers, like working in the hospitals. The RV parks were slower this year, but they were still being utilized by the rental fleet.
And locals.
And locals.
I mean, locals get out.
Locals tend to get out more in dry camp versus going into an RV park. Right. Another thing though, like Glitter Gulch up in Denali, very few businesses were open. I can't say as much what wasn't, because we went up and visited at the very tail end of the season when everything was shut down.
Ghost town.
It was a ghost town. It was for the road lottery, and all the lodges were shut. Some lodges didn't even open this year still, just because they didn't have the cruise ship traffic like they normally would, because the cruise ships only stayed down in Southeast. They didn't really come up to Seward or Whittier.
So Heidi Taylor, you're asking about moving to Alaska. That's a whole different subject versus RVing to Alaska. That can be a whole conversation later on we can talk about. It involves a lot more. You can always
email us directly too, and we can private conversation.
Absolutely.
And as I get into real time or catch up in YouTube world with videos, I do have some content that we've produced about moving here and the stages we had to go through to make it a successful move. But I would be happy to talk to you personally, and anyone else. I know there was a gal that reached out to me today from Coeur d'Alene. Or Kellogg. Basically our next door neighbor from home, that we can help with that. There's great Facebook groups on that subject as well.
And the second part of your question, you know, we'd love to see you stop on by and visit. We'd love to have visitors and talk about what we do.
Like this summer, I met a couple that there's a really good ice cream shop just down the road from us called Miller's Market. And I went over and met them for an ice cream cone. Looks like we're going to go long, so I love it. You guys are sticking with us. Thank you so much.
Adams is asking about gas. Difficult finding gas? No.
Well, and here, Lynn Allen, that was my next question. Is getting diesel fuel a problem?
No.
The Alcan is definitely, that is used year round by truckers to get us our everyday things we need here. It is a part of the supply chain. The biggest thing is, how far is your tank going to go? You're going to learn by the time that you hit where stations are few far and in between, you're going to know what your gas mileage is getting. And like when we came up, our big Ram was the biggest gas guzzler or fuel guzzler.
Well, the trailer was a little bit heavier than we planned on, and it took a bit more fuel.
So we were prepared because we were seeing what my mileage was.
We had 10 gallons of diesel,
and we stopped. We stopped up.
The lake, big beautiful lake, not including
We stopped in BC
Yeah.
on the way. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart what
Just
that
pass
lake
all the
was.
animals.
Up in before Laird Hot Springs in before after Fort Nelson. Gorgeous country.
I've been trying to think of the lake for a while.
But we had to stop and put in a 5-gallon can, and it got us into Watson Lake.
And we did that on purpose because we didn't want to have to stop at like Toad River or something like that and pay.
We could have
a
stopped.
huge amount of for fuel. We
like
had the fuel with us.
$5 a gallon.
Yeah.
And instead, we had fuel with us, so
Right.
we decided to go as far as we could.
Muncho Lake, thank you.
Thank you,
Muncho.
Madison.
Yep.
So, but easily you can hit between and hit the big towns where the gas is cheaper, where the fuel's cheaper versus the road houses. Like we said, we chose to pass Toad River because we knew their fuel was more expensive. And
actually, it was a great time to stop because we needed a little break, a little breather anyway. It was a long day, long drive day. So that gave us a chance to stop. And, well, we had a good fun. Anyway, good place to fuel.
The other spot where you really have to watch your fuel is on the Cassiar if you're coming up on the western route up. And again, by then, working your way up to Highway 37, you're going to know what your mileage is at, where you've been, what your cushion is. And there are a couple of places that you can stop and fuel. And as long as you're not really early or like dead winter, you're even more golden if you're within the normal travel pattern.
Good call on your auxiliary tank, Kenneth. Yes, having an auxiliary tank on your F-250 is the way to go when you're towing a fifth wheel.
Okay, next question. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We're going
long. We're going to go over. Hey, this is the first one this year. Let's just do it. Let's just make it happen.
Is it possible to make the trip with only a 17-foot travel trailer and small refrigerator?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Why not? Whatever you're comfortable
You're
in.
going to find little grocery stores or markets along the way. 17 foot, you're going to get into pretty much anywhere. Our rig is 39 feet, and then we have a F-150 behind it normally. So in all, we're 55 feet long, and we still don't have a problem getting anywhere, really, honestly. No. Well, some of the smaller forest campgrounds, we drive through and this isn't going to work for us. But that sweet spot,
like you said before, they're limited on their food storage with that small size. So there's stores, grocery stores,
take a
along
cooler.
The way, and maybe take a cooler, a Dometic cooler, whatever it is, and pack
or
that too.
Even a nice
chest. But you'll be fine, no problem at all.
Marcia asks, we were originally thinking of driving in 20 and 21 from Connecticut, but are now thinking of flying and renting. Maybe a camper van, looking for good rental sources. Your best bet is just Google RV Rentals Alaska. That's what I did today, and it brings up a ton of companies. The big boys that you see around on all the highways around here are ABC Motorhome and Car Rentals, Clipper Ship Motorhome Rentals, Cruise America, Explorer Alaska RV Rentals. Get Lost Travel Vans if you want to do a sprinter van. Go North Alaska, Great Alaskan Holidays. And then you have alternatives like Turo and Outdoorsy. And those two, actually, you're renting from a private individual.
So what were those apps again? Go over the apps again real quick. Turo
and Outdoorsy.
Right.
And that's where a local is renting you their personal rig, but it's backed up. It's kind of like Airbnb. It's backed up through the company, Turo or Outdoorsy. It comes with an insurance policy, and they get a cut, but the people will rent it to you. My biggest number one advice is do your research, read the reviews, because they're even on some of the names I've just given you, there have been bad experiences. So
every rental company is going to have a bad experience.
Right?
Yeah.
But those are the main players that we see when we're driving around and get behind a Class C. And most of them are Class C motorhomes, which are very easy to drive. They're smaller, usually between the 24 and 30 foot range. And you can pretty much get into anywhere in the state.
Right. Heidi, yes, there are plenty of options staying options to camp without staying in an RV park.
Absolutely.
Plenty everywhere.
When we came up in 2017, we were barely in RV parks, and for the entire summer, we were up here for, I think, 96 days. We kept our camping average under $10 a night, and that was with a few splurges of being in an RV park here and there.
Yeah, so you don't have to rely on an RV park up here. There's plenty of spots.
Plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're getting down to the end, and then we'll hit any ones if we haven't already.
Yeah, I'm watching them happen.
Yeah. Barbara Taylor asks, when do caravans start arriving? Is there a need to book a campground site before they start crossing into Canada, Alaska?
Caravans?
The caravans, the caravans have not been happening because of the Rona.
Stuff.
However, next year, who knows? They might. I'm sure they're itching just as much as you all are to get going. And the caravans run all summer long. Sometimes they run 2-3 different trips every summer. It just depends on the outfit. So you'll see them arriving usually in June, because they usually meet somewhere either in the lower 48 or in Canada in May, and then work their way up. The nice thing is RV parks don't solely dedicate all their spaces usually to the caravans. They're going to have a section or a block that's for them. And usually you can get in anywhere on pretty short notice. The only thing I highly recommend that you get advanced reservations for is Denali, just because there is limited camping in Denali.
Oceanside, or I mean, Seward.
Seward, especially
City
during
Seward.
4th of July. And yes, that is new since COVID. Seward City campgrounds are now 100%. You have to reserve in advance online.
There's no drive up?
There's no drive up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that kind of, you used to be able to just drive up, find a spot, and stay. Call it good. You can't do that anymore. You have to book in advance. It's kind of a pain.
That's gonna be tough for us.
Yeah, well, it's tough on everybody.
We just go sometimes.
We don't plan. We unplan. And that's the best way to do Alaska, is not be on a tight schedule, because you're gonna pull into somewhere and fall in love with it and want to stay 3, 4, 5, 7
nights, 7 weeks.
Or you'll keep going back to that spot. But really, you just need Seward, 4th of July, and Denali. And another thing a lot of people don't think about is when they're looking in Denali, there's only a few parks, but also look in Healy, which is just about a 20-minute drive north. There's a couple of RV parks up there. And guys, remember, a lot of these places, you're not going to be staying at the Ritz. This is Alaska. Everything is rustic. But there is spots for you available. You just have to reach out. And again, that's what our RVing to Alaska Facebook group does. It helps people put out information where you can take notes. Like, maybe I'll put a post, list your favorite campground in Fairbanks and why. And then people will just start
throwing
listing off and pictures, and
you'll get some amazing results with those searches too. Nancy, 26-gallon diesel fuel tank. You'll have no problem, but just for security blanket, maybe grab yourself 2 5-gallon jugs of diesel to carry with you on your way up. You shouldn't have a problem getting through Canada with a 26-gallon tank. Hello from Phoenix. Drove up in 18. Great. Yeah, we were here in 17 and 19, and now permanently. Man, you're good luck building our new place. Yeah, well, I'm watching it happen right now.
It's beautiful.
The framers are still on site. It's 6 o'clock in the evening here. It
took shape this week or last week, so it's like, we have a house.
It's exciting.
Next question, Tamara Cottom. Are the fuel station stops along the Alaska highway, affected by COVID? How far would one need to schedule tour reservations on excursions in advance. So again, like the gas stations, almost all of them were in operation in May. When we drove up, we had no problems. We chose to skirt by some.
There's quite a few card stop gas stations where there's actually no attendant, where it requires you to just use a credit card to prepay your fuel, and then you pump and you go. So that wasn't a problem at all.
But for excursions, if you want to fish, I would definitely book that in advance. I tell you, Alaska was busy this year. A lot of tour companies also may have lightened their load limits due to COVID, just for safety. So less spots available. So booking your excursions in advance might be a really smart thing. In the past, I never really recommended it, but seeing this year, there were people that, even that bad weather, and then because there's so many people and not as many runs, that they couldn't rebook. So that might be a good idea. Also, maybe if you're going to do a big bucket list item, maybe plan yourself in that area for a couple days, just in case there does need to be a rescheduling.
Don't plan yourself on the 26th to do that and arrive 25th and leave 27th. Give yourself a few days on each side of that big event. And
then there's also, like, we had a friend come up for a hunting trip. I know not the same, but he was going on a guided hunting trip, and his guide fell ill with COVID, and he had to be flexible, and his hunt got canceled, and he's coming back in the spring. So there is still that possibility, it's not going away. So you've got to be flexible with your bookings and leave yourself some space in case something does get rescheduled.
So, basically you can plan your trips around the excursions. So you go to Seward, you have several different excursions you can do there. Schedule those at one time. Go to Homer, schedule those at one time, and then get off the Kenai and go into the interior, up into Anchorage and then Fairbanks, and schedule those excursions.
Two more questions down here, and then we'll get up to your questions live. Marcy Franklin asks, should we plan on each stop along the way before going, or can we be flexible with reservation with boondocking? And like I just said, we like to unplan. Maybe you're tired. The road is a long road. It's 2,400 miles from the Washington border up to like Anchorage. It's a long journey.
And it's not 2,400 miles of lower 48 freeways.
No. So give yourself the time that you need. And if you need to stay an extra day, you have that flexibility. But if you are a planner, just know, maybe give yourself some free days in between plans, just in case. Just in case.
Just travel days between plans. Just, always, because tired, I want to stay here an extra day, or I want to go there and do that an extra day.
Or maybe you get 10 miles down the road from your last spot and you're like, holy cow.
Done that.
Need to stop.
Several times.
So
Jeep Overland, have a good time. Come on up. It's going to be amazing. You in a Jeep, a self-contained Jeep with a tent on top, you can go anywhere. You can do anything. Have fun.
He's responding to a comment.
I know, but he's
going to come up on the ferry.
Yep.
The ferry was really fun.
We had oh my gosh, we had a great time.
However, I will say it is not cheap. If you watch our playlist, just to take our Jeep up and our two selves in having a stateroom, it was $5,000. But we needed to get our vehicle up here, so
we had stuff.
Moving expense.
Oh, deductible.
Sue Rand asks, when is too early to cross the Canadian border?
Well, that depends on the weather.
It depends on your willingness to drive in snow.
Yeah.
The other thing too, on the reverse end, as of October 1st, you need to have studded or snow-rated tires in Canada. So
it ends in April
30th.
Yeah.
So we always say the window is May 1st to September 30th to enter the lower 48, just to be safe. And know that in that beginning of May and that end of September, you very well could see snowstorms. Now, as you're coming down, you're really in September, like we've always left around September 6th to September 8th. As soon as you get halfway down into Canada, you're back into summer.
It becomes summer again. Yeah.
It's just that northern tier. You could get, I mean, we almost had snow 4th of July weekend up in the mountains off the Glen. It froze.
Oh yeah, the dog's water froze.
The dog's water froze on 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
It can happen. We are in the mountains.
And this year, this September has been cold and snowy. We've already had snow on the ground on a couple of occasions here at our location. So it changes every year. It's different every year. But plan on being into British Columbia before October. Because British Columbia does have the snow tire requirement October 1st.
We have one more question that someone posted before Facebook went down, and I'm trying to pull that up. Is there any questions?
No, we've kept up pretty good. Kathy, best place to get Canadian money. I think.
Oh, hold on! I accidentally.
Wow. Jeez.
That was
I heard it 4 times going on. The best place for Canadian exchange, as Madison has said, is just through the ATM. Put your credit card in, and they'll give you Canadian money back at the current exchange rate, and that's just the best way to do it.
If you, for say, are transporting a firearm across the border and need to pay the fee, you can do it with a debit or credit card right there, so you don't have to bring cash across the border. In fact, I recommend you wait until you are in Canada to grab some cash to get you through the trip up.
Right.
Usually we always start with a $200 pull to get us through campgrounds or little transactions. Usually by Watson Lake, we're hitting the bank again and another ATM to get another 200,
right,
which gives us cash when we come back in the fall.
Provincial parks are cash only,
and government,
and they'll take American cash at par. So
you're the loser.
If you're putting if it's a $20 a night Canadian and you put a $20 American, you're losing the deal on that.
But with a credit card, you actually get it at that day's exchange rate, which is usually saving you anywhere between 25 and 30% discount. Yeah. So if you can, use your credit card. And the other big thing about that is using a credit card that has no international fees. Right. A lot of cards do have international transaction fees, which will add a couple of % fee on each transaction. Mm-hmm. So if you find a card or two that waive that will help you. And then also know that Discover and American Express are not widely accepted in Canada. So you need to find a Visa or MasterCard. And then another quick topic on credit cards in Canada, they are the opposite of what America is for Costco. So I think, I don't know, we can use a Visa at Costco. So in Canada, that means it's a MasterCard.
It's strange. Kathy Robertson's asking the essential items and tools to bring. That's a whole different discussion topic.
Funny. This is Kathy Robertson's question that I have to answer that came in.
Oh, wow. Overnight. Well, Kathy Robertson, you're getting spotlight right now. So, yeah, I think your question about essential items and tools to bring is going to be a whole different topic for a later discussion.
We can talk about that in the group. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Her question that she sent in 21 hours ago. We have a 40-foot fifth wheel with a residential fridge that we're wanting to take to Alaska. The advanced reservations for electric hookups a must at most campgrounds. We do not want to be tied down to reservations, but with so many people RVing, it seems campgrounds fill up months in advance in the lower 48. Also, is a 40-foot fifth wheel even doable in Alaska? In watching videos of other touring Alaska, most are in motorhomes, a Class C, or pulling a smaller trailer. I know our large fifth wheel is probably not ideal, but we don't want to have to buy a different one just for the trip. So
stay in your home.
We had friends
Yeah.
that had a big diesel pusher and they went to a fifth wheel and they just hated the fact they weren't in their home.
Mhm.
A 40 foot, we're 39. And then when you add our toad, we're 55.
Right.
You'll be fine. You just want to, on our website, we do have our 17 route. You can sign up for that list of where we stayed. It's it's a mix of boondocking, it's a mix of RV parks, and also we'll be just talk about it all winter long about different places to stay, what to do in each area. You're not going to have a problem. Take what you're most comfortable with.
Right.
And then again, we can help you. Like if you're in a fifth wheel, we always recommend maybe bringing a set of leaf springs. Is that right?
Yes. Leaf springs kind of blow out a little bit here and there. So yeah.
The frost heaves take a good hit on that, and that's kind of the number one maintenance issue that fivers have when they come up here.
And regular bumper pull trailers have that same kind of issue too. So,
but again, that's where the RVing to Alaska Facebook community comes together, where we can all just collaborate, share. And in the winter months, it's really just feeding off of people who've already come up versus our advice, and then you learning and taking notes.
Well, and
these live streams.
These live streams, we're going to try to do live streams throughout this winter. I'm not sure if they're going to be every Monday or not, but we'll have specific topics.
They'll be on a semi-regular basis, depending what we're doing.
And maybe we can have a discussion about trailers. Yeah. What you need to do to your trailer, be it fifth wheel or bumper pull, to come to Alaska. Yeah. Because there are some things you need to do.
Yeah. But is there any other questions before we let you guys go? You guys have been awesome. Been at a pretty steady number this whole live.
Right, we're over an hour and 20 minutes, and it's been very good interaction, both on our YouTube comments and some other comments coming through Facebook.
Calvin says, so nice to see you too. Thank you. Calvin. I know we have been kind of absent of late. It's just life.
We've had things going on.
2020, I was just mean and angry. I'm not gonna lie. And then 21, we kind of reset by moving up here to Alaska. This is truly our happy place. It drew us here. Obviously we've RV'd here a couple of times, and it feels right, and we're excited to bring more to you now that we actually live here full time, and we are an actual business. We established RVing to Alaska LLC. We're an Alaska state run business, and I have ideas. It's just me trying to logistically figure them out. If you have any ideas like that, boondocking and other local residents, that's genius.
That's a great idea for the transit up. That's really nice.
And while you're in state, to meet other locals, because let me tell you, when you meet the locals up here, they're a different breed. Everyone is, you got your hermits and your sourdoughs, let's be honest, and they don't really want to be bugged, but that's okay. That's why they're here. That's their lifestyle. And then you get people like us that just love the state and want to share with you all. And then
not everything.
Yeah, we're learning. There's
still secrets.
We've got to keep to ourselves now to, appease the locals, that we don't share every single hidden gem that is their, has been their playground. As much as I'd love to spill the beans on everything, you got to keep some things tight to your chest.
But no, so David MC is asking, are you guys going to start an RV park at your place? No. We're not going to have an RV park, but we are Boondockers Welcome hosts, and we have a spot or two for guests to stay.
Yes. So obviously we're living on our property right now. When we bought this property, it was bare land, never been touched, only by moose.
Yes. And a lot of moose.
So we had to do a lot of dirt work to establish our two areas. We have the house lot area, and then we have the RV parking area. And we, like he said, we were able to build 2 RV spots for basically friends and family. And then we have a dry spot for Boondockers Welcome. And right now, we've even hosted a couple of Boondocker Welcome last month.
3 people came through.
2, I think.
3?
But there's a warning that we're under construction right now, and
well, I don't think we're going to get too many Boondockers the rest of the winter.
No, I think the Boondockers are done for the rest of the winter unless they're a local coming from another area.
Yep.
But it's important to us to share within the community. The RVing community means so much to us. We've been so much a part of it,
and we want to meet you guys. We'd love to meet you guys, and hear your stories and why you wanted to come to Alaska, and we want to tell our story too. So yeah, come stay with us and look us up on Boondockers Welcome, and we'll have a fireside chat.
I'm not going to say what our name is, but because then everyone's going to want to come stay with us.
Well, that's true.
But it's probably not hard to figure out if you are a part of the service, and we've given enough hints where we are. But anyway, well, what a wonderful evening to be back. I'm really excited, guys. If you have issues with the website, let me know on the decals. I'm really excited to get these back on rigs.
I'm excited about these guys. These are going to be neat ones. So you guys, I think we need to make bigger ones, like this little bear here. I think he needs to be a 6-inch.
Let's see if I can get.
Look at the detail within the bear itself.
There's a mandala in the in the bear with Aurora, and I started playing around the other night. I'm like, and then someone, I think it was Susan Postalway, she's like, I would love a moose. So I made one in a moose.
There you go.
And these would be great to go on
water bottle.
My water bottle right there.
Mm-hmm.
So get your decals, share your pride of our community, join the conversation over on Facebook whenever it decides to play nice again. It was a pretty big outage today, and
on Facebook.
In the future, whenever we do lives, we're going to do them over here on YouTube, because I want to get beyond just Facebook. That's why I built our website. I've spent the past 3 years building that, getting it ready, and now that it's live, it's like but
Bill Resnick, you're talking about a little bit of solar, a little bit of batteries. That's great. In the summertime, it'll be amazing. Perfect job. We love the Battleborn batteries, and we are part of their family. And I'm sure this winter we'll have some conversations about how to make your RV boondockable.
Another thing we did, I filmed some footage about skirting our RV, because we are out in the elements right now.
She's wearing a skirt right now. The Disco has a skirt.
She has a foam skirt and a vinyl skirt, and we are doing pretty good. I think our lowest temperature we've seen so far is 19
or so, yeah.
And our water bay stayed at 44. So we're doing good.
I don't know what's going to happen when it gets down to 20 below. I'm hoping we're inside our shop at that point.
Well, our shop got a roof today, so that's progress.
Yes.
All right, guys. I think we're going to call it.
Good.
It's been an hour and a half. We want to thank you for joining us here on RVing to Alaska, first of many Monday Night Lives and any other impromptu jump-ins.
Right.
Oh.
What's that?
I see. Oh, that was my test order.
Oh.
It's processing.
So thank you guys for joining us tonight on YouTube Live. This has been an amazing chat. We've had a great time. There's going to be a heck of a lot more information on RVing 2020 original Facebook group.
2022.
RVing 2022.
How can you even put 2020? That year is long gone.
Gone. RVing 2022 original on Facebook. That's going to be your home for this year, for this travel,
especially
as you make your way to Alaska.
Over this winter, we'll learn together.
Yes.
And then come the summer, we'll travel together. Mm-hmm. And then come July, we'll
see you guys.
Together.
We'll camp together.
So,
yes.
All right. Until next time, guys, have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.